The transparency is this. You came in to find out about one thing, and that one thing is results. So the very thing that we're going to focus on tonight is the one thing called results. So I'm not going to try to sell, the deal I'm going to make with you tonight is I'm not going to try to sell Equus to you, and I don't want you to try to sell me BS. We're going to talk about results, and if I have the ability to help you produce the type of result that you want in your life, remember the hole. If I've got a drill that produces the hole that you need, now I've got a vehicle that you see a value in. So results. So the way I talk about it is I talk about two types of income. One being temporary, the other one being permanent. See, at some point in time in our life, it's not the business we're involved in. None of that matters. What matters is what type of income are we generating. There are two types of income. One is temporary and one is permanent. Temporary definition is whatever it is you do to make money, if you stop doing it, it stops coming in. Permanent, on the other hand, is whatever it is you do to make money, you stop doing it, it keeps on coming in. So if we had a choice in types of income, we had a choice, if somebody said, hey, which type of income would you like to have? Matthew, do you think, which do you think most people would choose? Permanent. Just sounds better. I mean, not even knowing the definition, just taking a stat, just a shot in the dark. Like, as long as we ain't talking about hospital stays, like give me all the permanent money you got, right? Here's why I do what I do. Y'all ready? And this hit me one night because a guy shared this with me, and I thought for a minute, I went, he's right. And like it set me on fire. I was 25, and people asked me all the financial struggles, all the struggles you've gone through in building your agency and all of this stuff, and all of my struggles in figuring out how to overcome my ego and things like that. What was it that kept you going? If everybody chooses permanent, how come 95% of the people in the great old United States of America have temporary? See, they would choose permanent, but they have temporary. You know why? Because they were never given a choice. But here's the recipe that they were taught and they followed. Go to school, get a good education, get out and get a good job. Go to school, get a good education, get out and get a good job. Robert Kiyosaki wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The sequel to that book was one of the greatest books that I've ever read in understanding this, and that's Cash Flow Quadrant. Robert Kiyosaki in that book confirms that yes, there are only two types of income, and yes, if you're ever going to make it financially, you've got to start focusing on types of income, not amount of income. How many people focus on the amount? Like, I made this, I made this. No matter how much you make, what type of income is it? That tells me your lifestyle. But Robert Kiyosaki said, yes, two types of income, but there's 4 ways of making those two types of income honest and legal in the United States of America. And that's where he came up with the now infamous ESBI quadrant. E stands for employee, S stands for self-employed, B stands for business owner, I stands for investor. 2 of the ways of making money fall under temporary, 2 of the ways of making money fall under permanent. Employee, somebody that has a job. Self-employed, see, some of y'all are looking up here going, wait a minute, self-employed and business owner, how could they be 2 different quadrants? Because how many of you guys grew up thinking that self-employed people were business owners? Right, Vince? I did. Absolutely. Self-employed people are people that own a single location mom and pop business. It's open 24 hours a day, or it can be. It's limited to 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. You can only charge X amount of dollars for your goods and service. So here's the ceiling on your income. And here's the $1 million question that you've got to answer as a self-employed person there. How many hours are you going to be open a day? How many days a week? And how many weeks a year? Can you be open? Can you run? Can you work and still keep a family? How many of y'all got personal experience of going through 2 or 3 families before you figured out the right answers to that? So employee is somebody that has a job. They go to work on Monday, they work till Friday and they get a paycheck about every 2 weeks. Isn't that smart of corporations to do that? And every time they get a paycheck, they go right back down to zero. They go do the same thing they didn't want to do the last couple of weeks, this couple of weeks for the same paycheck. And if you chart out the way an employee makes money, that's it for the next 30, 40, however many years they work. They do activity, they get a paycheck, and they go right back down to zero. Yeah, but John, if you live below your means and you take part of that money and you put it into the investor quadrant and you actually start investing money and you start making money with that money, hey, I think it's great, but how's that working for the United States? Here's the frustration of the employee. The employee says, I'm not making it financially because of two reasons. Number one, I'm working for somebody else. How many of y'all said that? I'm working for somebody else, and I'm not making enough money. That's why I'm not making it financially. So they jump out of the frying pan into the fire. So they go from working for somebody else to working for themselves. They've got about an 87% failure rate in the first couple of years. Okay, I think that's pretty well documented. But the ones that succeed in the S quadrant, I always tip my hat to them, because with an 87% failure rate, you got to be bad at the bone to succeed there. If you've been a self-employed person for more than 10, 15 years, more power to you. But here's what I believe. What I believe is that you don't own that business. What you've succeeded in developing a business that owns you. Is this giving y'all an idea of who you're talking to out there? But how many people that make a lot of money being employed, or how many people that are successful being self-employed, how many people do we shy away from because we think, like, oh, I can't go show them duplication. I can't go show them how to take Equus Financial and branch out and build a network. I can't do that. Why? Because you think amount of money equals success? See, here's what I know. When I talk to people, if I don't understand the frustration that they're dealing with, thank you, Claudia. If I don't understand the frustration, if I don't acknowledge the frustration that they're dealing with, then I miss the mark. And if I acknowledge the frustration that I know they're dealing with, they know that I may, if I'm nice, see, if I'm not nice and I'm like a Daniel McCrae or a Vince Hall, see, I'm going to rip that mask they're wearing right off. But if I'm nice, I'm going to let them wear that mask. But I just need for you to know I see underneath it. If you will develop the self-image enough to understand that every single person, even in sales, even when you go as a field underwriter into somebody's home, if you understand that everybody wears a mask, but when you walk into somebody's home as a field underwriter, or you're sitting down sharing the Equus opportunity with somebody, if you will simply understand the mask that they're wearing and what they want you to see, and if you'll develop the people skills enough to look at that mask and recognize it, and in a people skill way let them know that you recognize it, you will have people absolutely submit to your leadership and your influence, because they will know that's somebody that I'm safe with.
Wow.
That make sense?
Say it one more time.
If you will develop the self-image, this is huge. If you will develop the self-image to understand, and when you're developing a self-image to understand this, you're gonna come front and center with the mask that you wear.
Right.
Because we all got them. We all try to wear them. But when you develop the self-image where you no longer need that, you can be transparent with people, because you know that without those masks, you're more than enough because of who made you. When you sit down with people, you will let them know that you understand the mask that they're wearing, and you'll let them keep wearing it because you know they're not ready to take it off yet, but I see behind it. I know the real deal, Dr. Bob. I know the real deal, pediatrician Nancy. I know the real deal, restaurant owner Joe. I know the real deal. I know the frustrations you're dealing with. And here's the thing. I know that everybody in your neighborhood and everybody on your Facebook thinks that you're so successful because you figured out one element to lifestyle. You figured out how to make a lot of money. But I know how frustrating it is having a business that owns me, and all that money you make, you ain't got time to go to the bathroom good because that business owns you. And God forbid you ever go through a season of your life where you take off or you're forced to take off through some type of chronic illness or critical illness. I know the stress that you're under. And all I'm letting you know is that if you have a need for a big old hole, I've got a business that produces big results. What kind of big results? You want to commit part-time with me over the next 2, 3, 4 years, and let's go build an additional income stream of $250,000 a year? How do we do that? Can't do that selling insurance. How can we do that? We do that by building an agency. How do we do that? We take a theme of financial services. Much like Ray Kroc took a theme of a hamburger, DeLuca took a theme of a multi-meat sandwich, Monahan took a theme of a pizza pie called Domino's. And they took those themes not because it was best in the world, because Bob, let's be honest, I don't think McDonald's has the best burger you've ever had. You know, I don't think the quarter pounder with cheese is the best you've ever eaten. I don't think the Subway sandwich is the best sandwich you've ever, the best multi-meat sandwich you've ever had. But those themes represented viability. And those developers of networks, those business owners, they invested their time, and instead of building a business, they built a business system. The business system that we have is not Hamburger University. The business system we have is called Equus Financial. We've got a system of best practices. We've got a system of carrier relationships. We've got a system of everything that an agent needs to start branching out and interviewing, qualifying, and selecting. See, Bob, we don't recruit, but we interview, and we qualify, and we qualify, and we qualify, and we select the most talented people that any geographical region has, and we start to put them in their own business, realizing that most of them, because of their professional designations, they need to start off part-time versus full-time. See, now, Bob, I'd rather have them full-time, but I can't go tell a chiropractor to go shut down his practice and start his insurance career. But what I do know is that there's a lot of chiropractors out there that need multiple sources of income, and what we can do is we can go show them ours. So employee, somebody that starts off on Monday, works till Friday. Self-employed, somebody that starts January 1st, works to December 31st. And even though, yes, the successful of the self-employed, they make a little bit more money, they start off at zero every single January 1st. So employees, they're unemployed every single week or 2 weeks they get that paycheck. Every doctor, lawyer, dentist in America is unemployed every January 1st. Did you have a good year last year? Yeah, great year. Well, they don't pay residuals on those surgeries, do they? Let's go. Let's go. Clock's ticking. See, you get paid a lot of money because you got skill. That's the good and bad news. You drive a nice car because you got skill. You live in a house because you got skill. You live in a bodacious house because you got skill. The frustrating part, though, is that your lifestyle that you created, your spouse and your kids enjoy it, but it's a lifestyle that you can't participate in because you're the one that drives the money. So at the end of the day, the money that we make, the question is who drives it or what drives it? At the end of the day, that's all I want to know, Mr. Mercedes driver. Who drives the income you make? Do you drive it? I mean, let's face it. There's some people in downtown Philadelphia that make a lot of money as employees. What do they give up for it?
A lot of time.
Their life. Yes, sir.
You said on the permanent, for the business system and stuff, they sacrifice their time. What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, investors, they take money and then they invest it and they create income streams by the investment of money.
So businesses, big businesses still invest their time as well?
Well, absolutely, and that's a great question. But let's look at a guy like Ray Kroc, who started McDonald's. I mean, McDonald's now, I mean, it's a factory that runs on factories. I mean, right? I mean, it's a pretty awesome system. But if you go back and you look at how Ray Kroc actually created what we now know today called McDonald's, you know, what did he do? And I mean, it was physically him going out there and finding people that wanted to own and operate a business. Now, I will tell you this. Tell me your first name. Karan?
Yeah.
Okay, Karan, write this down. Probably the biggest thing that it's an awareness that I think at some point in time, every business builder I have in my organization, I want them to develop this awareness, okay? And I'm going to talk about the difference between building a sales team and building a true business building duplication team. But when I interview people, I don't interview people to work at McDonald's. I don't interview hamburger flippers. I interview people that want to own one. And in the process of interviewing people that want to own a business, I tend to find quite a few that'll flip a few burgers here and there. But I've never gone out there interviewing hamburger flippers and found one that, like, you want to own one? You see what I'm saying? So I look for people that want to build a business. And in the process of hiring and building and networking and coaching people that want to build a business, we've got an awful lot of people that sell insurance policies. Ray Kroc had a hamburger, DeLuca had a sandwich, Monahan had a pizza pie. I have financial services, but if I boil that down, what do I actually have? I've got a mortgage protection pizza that's an $85 a month application. I've got a final expense Chick-fil-A that's a $60 a month application. And what we've got at Equus Financial is we've got a lead system that produces mostly direct mail leads where I can set an agent up, and I know this, for every 10 A leads that a mortgage protection producer works, for every 10 final expense leads that a final expense producer works, I know that I'm going to get somewhere around 2.8 applications. I'm going to get about 2.8 $85 a month applications. I'm going to get about 2.8 $60 a month applications. So now, like where they said, hey, Ray Kroc wasn't in the hamburger business, Ray Kroc was in the real estate business. Exactly. And if you don't think building Equus Financial that you're in the real estate business, John Schwartz, come on, dude. Like, come on, get it. You're as much in the real estate business as anybody. Why? Because there ain't but so many street corners. And I will tell you, if there's one thing that I developed with you guys today, I hope it's a freaking sense of urgency that when you walk out of that door, you understand that, hey man, Equus is going to develop into an incredible opportunity for masses of people all over the United States in the next, I don't know, next 8, 10 years, 12 years, 15. There's going to be an incredible run. But I will tell you, from a massive distribution business building opportunity, I really want you guys to take a look at the next couple of years. I'm not talking about 7 figures. I'm talking about, I want you to look at the next couple of years like you can literally change generationally. You can literally change your family's financial outlook generationally over the next 2, 3, 4 years. Because I'm going to tell you what, there's going to be more people like Jared that figures out how to go out there and make 5, 10, 15, 20 million a year. because that's what our industry produces. That's what Equus is going to produce. But what you got to realize is right now with Equus Financial, there's a whole bunch of street corners that nobody's ever even thought about putting a McDonald's there. Y'all ever remember that saying? Says discovery consists of seeing what everybody else has seen, but thinking what nobody else has thought. You ever heard that? Discovery consists of seeing what everybody has seen, but thinking what nobody else has thought. And I hope if this does one thing for you guys today, I hope it starts to fertilize your thoughts. I hope it gets your mind racing. I hope, like this 25-year-old kid back in 1993, I hope that you can't sleep because all you do is think about duplicating yourself.